Stop the pigeon, 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 stop the pigeon. Ah! Nab him, grab him, tab him, jab him, stop the pigeon now.
Cool.
Thank you, whoever applauded.
That was me.
Very, very nostalgic.
Yep, bringing it back to 70s cartoons.
Excellent, good stuff. Welcome to the Button Mash Podcast. That was Stop the Pigeon by Michael.
Thank you.
And I'm also joined this week by Will once again, who's making a regular appearance now. Are you gonna be a regular with us now?
I reckon so, yeah.
Cool, excellent, good stuff. So we need to
You can't
start finding guests.
can't leave me alone with you, John.
No, not wise, not wise.
Not wise at all.
Well, welcome to the Button Mash Podcast for Sunday the 5th of October. We're going to be talking about video games and video game accessories for somewhere around 2 hours, hopefully.
We'll see.
We shall see. So we'll kick things off as we usually do, talking about our gaming experiences for the week, I think. What have folks been playing? Don't all rush at once.
Yeah, right. Well, this week I've been testing out the beta for Hyper Light Drifter,
All right.
which is developed by Heart Machine. I funded this with alongside Shovel Knights and Paradise Lost First Contact, because they're all in like lovely 16-bit deliciousness.
Right.
So Hyper Light Drifter is it's kind of your average floating cities that are all ruined and full of monsters, full of space goblins.
Those pesky space goblins.
Pesky space goblins.
What sort of game are we talking about here? What kind of game is it?
It's a 16-bit action RPG.
Okay.
You've
So-
clearly heard of that one, John.
I'm having trouble visualizing what to actually make of that. I might just
Okay,
have
well-
to Google it.
To compare it, it's like playing a 16-bit version of Bastion, or also a little bit like Spiral Knights, if it was single player.
Oh, right.
So you will be able to relate to it. You probably really enjoy it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. I can kind of see how that works. Yeah. Yeah, I've got some screenshots, so I've got a bit of a better mental picture of how that's going down now. Right.
Mash
Yeah. Okay.
Podcast brought to you by Google.
And Kickstarter. Actually,
Obviously.
that's surprising. Actually, we do have Kickstarter stuff to talk about. I'll get there later.
Not that we're making hypocrites of ourselves after last week.
No, not at all. Well, as we say, I mean, there's plenty of good stuff on Kickstarter. It's just you do need to be a bit cautious about it, because there's obviously great potential to be burnt, depending on precisely how much you put in.
Well, I have to say, with the beta for Hyper Light Drifter, which was funded on Kickstarter, it's very well polished.
That was
Well, it's
cool.
like-
Yeah, I could possibly. Can you get into this now? Because I'm quite liking the look of that.
Yeah. Yes, you can. You can get access to the beta on heart-machine.com for only $15.
Okay, I might have to have a look.
Or,
I feel like-
a tenner in real money.
I feel like we
Right.
should have segued that somewhat.
Into
I-
what now?
No, I should have just set that up like saying, well, Will, where can you find the link to this?
Oh, so
I'm
it's-
not. I already had links. I'm a little bit too prepared.
Oh, wow. Well,
Well,
I'm sorry, I've outsourced you already.
It's not really a shameless plug. It's not like we're being paid to do that or anything. I was just purely curious as to whether I could buy it. So I mean, some developers do. Oh, we're funding it on Kickstarter, but no, you can't buy the game after that. I mean, see, actually, it's not quite exactly how they did, but again, your Necrodancer kind of thing, where it's like, okay, everybody, please buy our game. Wait, no, nobody can buy it anymore. So sometimes you get that.
No, Heart Machine are wonderful devs. I had to say, like, I had issues picking up my Steam key. Like, they didn't send it to me via email, and I waited a day and got in touch with them, and they said, "Oh, here's a link to the Humble store. You can pick it up there." And they totally disregarded the fact that they'd sent me. Hang on, I've got a list here. They sent me Gravity Ghost,
Alright.
Humble Indie Bundle 6, Indie Bundle X, Mobile Bundle 2, THQ Bundle, Shovel Knights, Tower of Guns, and obviously Hyper Light Drifter. And that amounts to about 25 games. So that's a really good service.
Nice. I did give you Gravity Ghost like a year ago.
Yes,
though,
yes.
which I thought that would have been out by now. I've been waiting on that one for a while. I was thinking, oh, they're doing pre-sales. It can't be that far off. Nope,
No.
a year later, we're still waiting.
Have you not been following these weekly Steam releases that we're doing, and whether or not they actually come out?
Well, I don't know if that one's on Steam. If it's on Steam, it might be on Steam Greenlight. I've not really followed development of Gravity Ghost all that closely.
No, I've kind of forgotten about it completely, actually.
There's one YouTuber I watch who keeps mentioning it from time to time, and I kind of any news on it I get from him. It's when he occasionally mentions it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's still a thing. That still looks quite cool. So, hang on, no, there is a Steam page for it. It's interesting. Okay, well, that is good to note. Does it have a release date? Oh my god, it actually has a release date. Holy crud. 26th of January 2015.
It's still a ways off.
Which is surprisingly specific at this point.
Yes.
So on the 26th of January, we won't mention it in new releases because we've already told the world.
Yeah, let's do that. Anyway, yeah. And that shows up in my curation list because it was at PAX Prime 2013, apparently.
All right.
So there you go. Interesting. Cool. Good, something to keep an eye out for.
Gravity and Ghosts. A winning combination.
Obviously, yes. It's a gravity puzzle thing. You float around orbs and bounce off things with gravity and whatnot. It looks entertaining.
Cool. So, Will, Hyperdrive.
Hyperlight Drifter, yes.
Hyperlight Drifter. It's brilliant. It's very hacking slashy. So far, only in the beta, you've just got one gun. One sword, which is it's effectively a lightsaber. They call it a hard light sword, but it's really a lightsaber.
Right. I think there may be trademarks on that.
Yeah, probably. A few legal issues there.
Mm-hmm.
But you can deflect bullets with it. You can cut through a lot of the scenery as well, which is quite nice.
All right, cool.
But
Bastion-y in that regard.
Yeah, it's more focusing on the changeability of guns as opposed to the melee weapon.
Okay.
So you've got a gun, but it doesn't take conventional ammo. It has to recharge, and
it's not a horse gun, is it? Like last
no. Nor a glass cannon.
Did you intend to go no?
No.
Impersonating a horse.
I may have done subconsciously.
Good stuff.
I don't remember the horse gun of which you speak, though. What's the horse gun?
We wasted like 10 minutes talking about alternative weapons, and somebody suggested a cannon that fires a horse.
I have no recollection of this.
Maybe you should go back and listen to our podcasts, which can be found at
the channel you're looking at right now.
Yeah.
That could have been so much better.
I don't see the point of doing a shameless plug for a thing someone's already watching. That one seems a little pointless.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough.
There is a
Segways are all I have.
There is a link below every single podcast video that says Button Mash Podcast. If you click on it, it takes you to all the Button Mash podcasts. Surprisingly enough.
At YouTube.
YouTube.com/Button Mash Podcast. There, you happy?
I'll sleep better tonight, thank you.
Good. I'm looking at the artwork for this Hyperlight Drifter. It's all very pretty.
It's so lovely.
It does look rather good.
I think it's going to look even better than that, considering how much money they raised. I think originally the goal was $27,000. And that's quite low for an indie game.
Yeah, I've got the Kickstarter up now. Yeah, they aimed for 27,000. They got 645,000.
Which is colossal. That's compared to what they wanted. That's stupid. So obviously they're taking a lot of extra time. I think the game was originally already supposed to be out by now, but it's going to be sometime next year now.
Well, if you've got an extra 600 grand, you might as well make it as good as possible.
Yeah, well, I imagine they're developing it beyond their wildest dreams.
Either that or they've bought a solid gold swimming pool.
To be fair, some of these stretch goals are we're just going to hire more people so that we can work faster, but So I don't know.
Yeah, one of the main crew has some health problems, which really kind of slowed down
Oh, fair enough.
the
Yeah.
development process, and they were really open about that. They've had lots of live Twitch videos that they've been really open and honest about why they're taking so long. And just, I don't mind as long as the game's the best it can be when it comes out. I don't mind waiting. I've got plenty to do in the meantime.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also seeing on its estimated delivery of finished game June 2014. So
Well,
their initial
as long as
estimate was that
people,
it'd be done by now. Yeah.
well, as long as people are honest about why it's taking so long, and it's for a good reason, like the person making it sick, then I think you can appreciate it and you're willing to wait.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
definitely.
And certainly, yeah, I mean, I'd always rather people took the time and actually came up with a good product rather than trying to rush it to meet some arbitrary deadline that they set, however
definitely.
long before. When was this project anyway? Was funded October 2013, so they gave themselves about 9 months to work on it.
So if it was supposed to come out in June, it's coming out in October. I don't think that's too unreasonable, is it?
No, well, obviously, as we say, it's still kind of beta access at the minute, so it's not done by any extent. But at the same time, I'd rather see them develop it properly.
What they've done is they've not given you any story at all. It is literally here's a large map, a small selection of enemies, a handful of guns, and if you want extra content, you've got to hunt around for keys. There's 4 keys that open one door, and there's like 16 keys that open another door, and they're very well hidden. They're kind of all hidden off screen, and you have to use something called the dash module, which is you just use to do a little like trippy dance over gaps between the floating city. But you have to be very, very brave to find some of these keys because you are dashing off screen.
Right.
So you're just doing the hustle off it over gaps in the floor.
Can you see where you're getting to, or is it a bit leap of faithy?
It's very leap of faithy.
Oh, don't like that.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd rather know where I'm going.
Well,
they give you very subtle cues. I've managed to figure out that there are little runways sometimes that kind of look like they're going off, but there's actually something at the end of them.
Right. Okay. As long as there's some sort of cue there. I mean, if they're just literally expecting you just to leap off the edge of the level and hope you're going to land on something on the side, and just in the name of experimentation and trying to find secrets, it's like that doesn't seem like great design to me. It's like, there's something off screen. We're not going to tell you where it is. Just jump for it.
Yeah.
No.
There are subtle cues, but I have to say, like, I've done one full run. It took me an hour because I kept on dying. I'm terrible with the dash module. I tend to dash straight towards enemies, and when an enemy's on the side of a chunk of floating city, you just tend to go straight into the enemy and then fall straight down. So I've died a lot.
I've just got the image of you doing the Macarena and just falling off a cliff.
Yeah.
Is it like kind of roguelitey in any kind of way?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I couldn't find anything to say whether it was or not, and I was like, is this like permadeath or what we've got going on?
No, it's not permadeath. Well, you start from the entrance that you came in on.
Okay. All right. So it's not very roguelitey, but then okay.
No, no, I guess not.
It sounds a fun game though.
It could be cool. Yeah.
It's so fun. I can't wait to actually get some story out of it, and more guns, and there's bombs and grenades apparently, and all kinds of big boss scenes.
Sweet.
Yes.
Keep an eye on.
Definitely.
Exciting times.
Have we got anything else then, or?
Well, I've been doing pre-season for Football Manager.
Ooh, okay. Go on. We need our season update.
Well, I'm playing friendlies at the moment, and it's a mixed bag.
Really? Just what purpose does that serve in a manager game?
Well, when you're playing friendlies, it gets your squad because they've gone on a holiday. It just gets them back to match fitness and learning new tactics and that sort of thing.
Oh, right, so it kind of gets their stats up a bit, I suppose. Is
Yeah.
that right? Okay.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I've lost 4-0 to Valencia, but I beat Fleetwood Town 6-0, so about 50-50.
I have no idea what any of that means.
It means I'm beating the easy teams and losing to the hard teams, essentially.
That's as it should be.
Yeah, so you can't really complain.
Right.
And that's about it.
Okay, cool.
What have you been playing, John? Move this train wreck along.
What have I been playing? I've been playing... I haven't played a whole lot terribly interesting this week. Same old, bit of Spiral Knights. Wildstar, I'm making some progression on. I'm up to level 45 now. Which means
that sounds good.
I've got, like, about 1 week left before I have to pay another month's subscription fee.
Oh dear.
That
So
gives
it's
me...
a dash to get the last 5 levels, is it?
Part of me wants to get the last 5 levels, mainly because I've heard that once you get to level 50, it becomes a lot easier to earn money, and therefore I could buy another month's subscription fee with in-game currency. The thought also occurs that I might be able to potentially scrape together the money for it. I don't know what the current going price is on the cred is what they are, the subscription fees in-game. Since I've started, it started at about 8 platinum is the currency, and I've got 7.5 platinum on my character currently. But
It's not too much difference for you to get to, though.
yeah, but it hasn't. It was 8 when I started. That was 2 months ago. It quickly went up from there, and it's sort of waved back and forth between about 10 and 15 platinum since then. So it's a little bit out of my price range right now. If I could get to 10, I might
What
be able
else
to...
would you be spending them on?
Sorry?
What else would you be spending platinum on?
Once I get to level 50, ideally some gear would be nice, because I could go on the auction house and buy some level 50 gear. But
Yeah,
if I can
level
save myself...
50 gear so last season. Just go with what you've got.
Just go naked.
Yeah.
Suck
All
it, boss.
natural.
Yeah. Costumes are where it's at. I'm just going to buy some hats. There are plenty of hats. Well, actually, it's not TF2 for hats, but there's a few costumes in there.
Well, if you're just wearing a fedora, you'll be fine.
I haven't seen a fedora. There is a fez. You can have a fez, because fezzes are cool.
Ah,
Fezzes are cool.
I actually have a fez.
My god.
Yeah, my brother bought it back for me from Turkey. I just haven't broken it out yet.
Right. Amazing. Well, you have to come up with some cosplay for our next event that involves a fez somehow. You have to come
And
as
when is that next event, John? You fed me that.
a little bit. The next Button Mash event can be found at the New Redford Playhouse on October the 18th, which is in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, panicky times.
Yes, and if you want to come to that and want to take part in our cosplay competition, you will have to get making your cosplay super fast. So get on that.
Yep, we would like to see a good turnout in cosplay if possible, so please do.
You guys got your costume sorted?
It's a bit hard because I'm usually the button mash horse, so I'm suspecting I've got to work around a horse head.
Well, there are many famous horses throughout history. You could go as Mr. Ed.
I'm just trying to work out how I would do that.
I don't actually know what Mr. Ed looks like, so...
Yeah.
There must be some horses you could do somehow. You could put some armour on and go as the Oblivion horse.
Might just paint it white and go as Pegasus.
Could do that as well. See? There are horse cosplay options.
Oh. I could go
Not
as that
many, but...
I could go as that horse that's in your World of Warcraft account that you won't buy.
Yes, you could go as the horse that I won't buy, that I unlocked in Hearthstone.
I'm just gonna follow you around the event going, why don't you love me?
That could get awkward very, very quickly. I will say that much. I'm trying to think of some noteworthy characters that are horses. I mean, animals get anthropomorphized often enough in media, particularly games and that kind of thing. And yet, I'm really struggling to think of horses. Does furry culture hate horses that much? Really?
I've never seen anyone cosplay a horse before. Never. Oh, you could be the horse from Robot Unicorn Attack.
I don't know that one.
You don't know Robot Unicorn Attack?
Robot Unicorn Attack. Sorry, I don't know. For some reason, when you said that, my brain didn't hear Robot Unicorn. I said my brain went Robot Chicken. I was like, there wasn't a horse in Robot Chicken, but you weren't talking about that.
No.
Oh, Robot Unicorn. Yes, you could go as a Robot Unicorn. Yes, do that.
But we'd have to have the theme from Robot Unicorn playing all throughout the night, otherwise there's no joy.
Oh no, we'd have to have Erasure on loop all evening? How could I deal with that?
I feel like the guests may object at some point.
No, they wouldn't.
No,
who could object to Erasure on loop?
I'm just thinking there'll be one guy just there going, if this does not turn off in the next 5 minutes...
I will kill someone.
Which would inevitably be me, because I'm dressed as the horse.
Yep.
I'm not willing to die if I burn my ship.
Well, you're not dedicated enough. I'm going to have to let you go. Your commitment to the company is questionable.
For not martyring yourself to the cause.
Yes.
Hope you enjoy singing 70s themes by yourself.
No, come back. I need you. I can't sing.
Yep.
I played
Let's move swiftly on.
I played Crypt of the Necrodancer, but I've not done anything terribly exciting or interesting with it. I've just played it.
Okay. That's kind of the point.
Yeah, no, I mean... I normally try to find and do and play with interesting and new things in Crypt of the Necrodancer, but I've not really done much this week. There's the new weapons, the Dagger of Phasing. I spent a while trying to...
I'm sorry, what?
There's a Dagger of Phasing, which lets you stab through armor, basically. There's a few enemies in the game that carry shields and stuff, and that just lets you stab straight through their shields.
Oh, that's helpful.
It's really limited in its usefulness. The main thing is if you can combine it with a Ring of Phasing, and getting both of them at the same time is bloody difficult. I'd want a seed. I need someone to find a seed that has both of those early on for that to work. I had one that was supposed to be one, but it wasn't, and they lied.
No, no.
They lied?
They lied. Basically, I got a Ring of Regeneration, not a Ring of Phasing, which is no bloody use. With the Ring of Phasing, and if you have the Dagger of Phasing, the Ring of Phasing lets you walk through walls, but normally you can't attack enemies whilst you're in a wall. With the Dagger of Phasing, you can.
You just hide in a wall.
It sounds really overpowered, I know, yeah. You just hide in a wall and keep stabbing things through the wall.
What does the left shoe of phasing do? Do we know?
The what now?
Left shoe of phasing. Do we know what that does?
Lets you dance through walls. I don't know. I think you're making things up.
No. I'm genuinely sincere.
No, that is not a thing. I'm fairly certain.
It's totally a thing.
No. Yeah, if someone's played Necrodancer and knows where I can get a Ring of Phasing and a Dagger of Phasing, please send one to me, because god damn it, I want to try that out together. It sounds wonderfully overpowered. The dagger itself,
like it would help.
Yeah, the dagger itself, it's just limited by the fact that you're still playing with a dagger, and the dagger sucks. It's like, oh, I can stab through like the 2, maybe 3 enemies that actually have shields, but beyond that, what else does it do? The ghosts that normally you have to sort of look away from them before you can stab them. It lets you stab the ghosts while they're still sort of phased, so that kind of works.
But that's in Zone 1. You don't really have any trouble with those.
It's the only time you're going to want a dagger as well, so...
Yeah.
Beyond that, if you get to Zone 2 and you still got a dagger, you're probably looking to upgrade at that point.
So with this dagger, at some point, you'd like to phase it out?
Yes. Ba-dum-tsh.
Oh.
Yeah. I prefer the Dagger of Frost. That was ridiculously overpowered.
Don't you have the Dagger of Frost anymore?
Well, it's a roguelike. As soon as you die, you lose everything. I know where to get one again. I can go back and play the same level and get it again, but...
You can't be bothered.
Well, I'd rather see some new content. I'd rather do a new level. There's a ridiculous amount of stuff in that game, and a ridiculous amount of interesting things that you can combine to make awesome stuff, so... It's fun just to experiment with new stuffs.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Did some Minecraft yesterday, which has gone up on my channel today, an hour
And
ahead of
your
everybody.
channel is?
youtube.com/button-empire.
It's so easy sometimes.
Yes. I accidentally goofed on that. I put that up an hour before everyone else because, god damn it, time zones. I know I rarely get caught out by time zones. This one I tripped up. They were like, oh, we need to put it out at 7 p.m. UTC, and I put it up at 7 p.m. GMT, which is 6 p.m. UTC.
Does it really matter in the long stream of things?
Generally, when you're trying to coordinate with other people who are doing the same content as you on YouTube, it's generally just good form for everybody to put the same content out at the same time, so nobody's stealing the other people's views. When we're talking about small-ish channels like ours, probably not. If we were talking about channels with tens, hundreds of thousands of viewers, it might be a bit more of an issue.
So you've started a YouTube gang war now.
Yeah, something like that.
So next time we're just in town, we're going to be accosted by people from other YouTube channels. It's going to be like the scene in Anchorman where everybody fights.
Michael, where did you get a grenade?
I carry one with me all the time.
You may want to lie low for a little while.
You killed a man.
Welcome to the Anchorman podcast.
It's a tremendous film.
It's fun. I haven't seen the second one, mind you. I kept meaning.
No, I
not
haven't
even
either. I think I just want to preserve the first one.
Right.
Preserve my faith in the first one.
I've heard it's not actually that bad though.
I have no idea. I never heard any sort of opinions or thoughts on it, so I have no idea what to expect. I don't know if it was sort of critically acclaimed or panned or whatever.
I think the general consensus was it's a funny film, but it's not as good as the first.
Right. Do you guys ever see the sort of like the 1.5 movie?
No?
Oh no.
They did basically for the original movie. They shot the footage they had compared to what was actually used in the movie was basically enough to make another entire film out of. So they did.
Yeah.
Was this like a DVD extra or was it like a separate?
I don't know. I got it from the internet.
Oh, don't admit that on air.
I got it from perfectly legitimate sources on the internet.
Because we never break the law.
But yeah, there's Wake Up Ron Burgundy. They did like another feature-length film just out of the scenes they didn't use in the original Anchorman. So it's B-roll footage, but it's still very good.
I might have to check that out.
And it all because it's
Through legal sources, of course. Well, yeah.
No, yes.
Yeah, because it was all part of the original film. It was originally about 4-hour long films worth of stuff, I guess. You can see how it ties in with the original. It's almost like deleted scenes, as it were. But at the same time, it also makes its own story in its own right, which is crazy.
That's quite impressive, really.
Yeah.
Let's bring this swiftly back to gaming.
Okay.
You played anything else this week, John?
I have dabbled briefly with a game called Team Indie, which, to be entirely fair, I remember the devs sending to me a couple months ago, and I never took a look. Well, I did take a look at it then, but I didn't actually do a video on it back then. I meant to and never got round to it. It was one of those, I get too many to cover everything, so it was just like, not everything gets covered. That was one of the ones that fell by the wayside, unfortunately, and it's come back again. They're like, oh, now we're on Steam, would you like a Steam key? And I'm like, oh, actually, I remember this was kind of cool. So I've been playing a bit of that, and I probably will try and make an effort to actually cover it this week.
So you'll be able to give us a review of it next week?
Well, hopefully this week. It's out on Tuesday, I believe. We'll have that in our releases later on. Basically...
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. It's a side-scrolling puzzle platformer thing involving a all-star indie video game cast. Many of which I don't actually recognise, to be fair, which is really bad. I'm like the biggest indie geek, and it's like, I don't know who these are. It's really crazy. I mean, the first character you get is... you play as a cat for whatever reason who gets trapped in a computer for whatever reason.
That does sound like a hell of a concept.
Yeah. Well, the owner tries to get them out the cat has to navigate the puzzles to get out of the levels, but he has no superpowers of his own. He can only jump. So the owner then hacks in characters from other games to help him out. And the first one is Commander Video from the Bit Trip series, Bit Trip Runner and Fate and whatever else they've done. They've done a few in that series.
Oh yeah, I recognise that one.
So he literally just has the ability to run. He can slide under. He can slide under narrow objects. Is kind of his thing. So he can get to switches and stuff that normally the cat wouldn't be able to. But as a character, he does continually run forward. You cannot stop him. So it's a little tricky to work with.
Sounds like a really fun game, actually.
Yeah, the second one you unlock is a green blob called Jitters, and answers on a postcard if you know what the hell that's from, because I don't know what that is.
Jitters the green blob.
Yeah.
Not a clue.
No, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's supposed to be from some moderately famous, I suppose, indie game, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. I've never heard of a Jitters. I don't know any games with green blobs unless we're talking World of Goo, and it's not that. So yeah.
Jitters the blob.
Yeah.
It's a great name for a blob, by the way.
Well, you can tell that to the developers when you find out who they are.
Yeah, I'll send them an email just specifically going, your blob naming feature. Brilliant.
Yeah, the blob can create a platform you can stand on, so that lets you get to other places. And the third one is one I do know. It's Clunk from Awesome Noughts.
Ah, yes, I remember when you covered this.
Yeah, well, Clunk's one of his signature things is he can explode.
It's useful.
So he does that in the game. Yeah, he's got a explosion feature, so he explodes and you can blast objects out the way. And then there's like weird. You can only change between characters at checkpoints. So it's kind of got. It's like somewhere halfway between the Lost Vikings and Braid, if that's a reference anyone's going to pick up on.
Nope. I'm afraid not.
No. I have Braid, but I've not played it yet.
Well, Braid kind of played with lots of weird sort of time travel-y kind of mechanics. I think it was a very strange sort of...
I thought it was like a hairstyling game from the sound of it.
No, not so much. And then Lost Vikings was a ancient game from Silicon and Synapse, who you might know these days as Blizzard.
Oh, right.
Yeah, this was way back in like the late 80s, early 90s. I'm not sure what format it was on. But yeah, it was a game about 3 Vikings, and you had to do some puzzle platforming, dungeon crawling stuff. And one of them had a sword, one of them had a shield, and one of them had a bow. And you had to use their different properties to get past different things, and they would work together. You pressed a button and you could change between characters. You could only control one character at a time. And you could use like the shield you could have the guy with the shield point the shield up and use it as a platform to stand on and stuff, and the bow and sword would fight various enemies. And if one of them died, the levels were usually still completable, but it made it significantly harder, and you had to complete the level with like only 2 Vikings. So it's kind of one of the first games to really attempt to do single player co-op, I suppose is the way you'd describe it. And yeah, this Team Indie kind of plays out in a similar kind of fashion. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, however many bloody characters it throws at you. I've only seen 3 characters in one level so far, but yeah, kind of throws of like 3 different characters at you and says, here, make use of all their different powers in a different elaborate way. And it's the braid thing that comes in because like the characters all move at the same time. When you collect a character's token to switch to that character, the time then rewinds back to before that character previously made its move. So you'll like run alongside Jitters as Jitters creates the platforms for you to stand on, and then the cat can run alongside it and jump on the platforms as they're being created. And then you can switch to like Commander Video, and he can run along and step on the platforms as well, and combine their powers in elaborate Brady Lost Vikingsy way to make it all work, which is kind of interesting. And I also like all the references to indie games.
Even the ones you don't know.
Even the ones I don't know. In fact, if you look at the game artwork, one of the main characters they do have front and center on their box art and whatnot is the character from Braid, whose name I can't remember. I can't for the life of me remember what his name was. If it had a name? It was another one of those, here's a little boy, he's your protagonist kind of ones, but I can't for the life of me remember what, if anything, that character was called.
Nope, I don't think you can get help here.
No. Well, There's a few other characters in there. I think there's like 7 or 8 different characters. Oh, there's I've got the box out. There's Tiny from Tiny and Big, which is a game I played a couple of years back now. It was a very, very good game about physics, platforming, puzzling kind of thing, which is really awesome. You got a big laser and you can cut almost anything in the world in half and use it just to solve puzzles, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
There's Dust Force, which is very much like Super Meat Boy or N+, kind of lots of wall running and climbing stuff. And then there's like another 1, 2, 3 characters that I don't recognise, so I don't know, maybe I'm not as up on my indie games as I think I am.
Well, you don't know Jitters the Blob, so I think that's the giveaway.
Well, yes. Oh, hang on. Oh, there is a list on their Steam page. Excellent, I can find out what they all are.
Oh dear.
So, one of them is Super Crate Box Guy from Super Crate Box.
Okay.
That well-known character.
So famous that they bothered to name him.
I know the game, but I wouldn't have known the character, to be honest, because he was just generic Super Crate Box Guy. Right. Jitters was from The Great Jitters Pudding Panic by Kunststoff.
Nope. That's not helped out me at all.
No. There is Black Fluff Ball from Badland by Frogmind. Don't know what that is.
I think that's a mobile game. I think I played that on mobile.
Oh, right, okay. Well, yeah, what else we got? Oh, the guy from Braid is called Tim.
Ah, Tim.
It's amazing how many of these characters are just really generic names as well. Because, yeah, you've got the character from Dust Force is Dust Girl.
Not even trying at this point.
Yeah. I think these are the kind of games where they never really intended... It was stuff like Dust Force was just, here's a lot of leaves, sweep them up. It wasn't really any grand overarching plot. You didn't really need to name the characters to any great extent. It was just like, pick a person and go sweep things. So there's no reason. It's just, here, sweep things. Sweeping things is fun, right?
Yeah. It depends
Obviously
what time
from
of
this or a cleanup detail.
Yes, actually. Oh, I really need to get into that one. I do want to play that at some point.
It's disturbingly fun.
So I hear. I mean, like I said, at some point I did watch Yahtzee from Zero Punctuation. He did like an hour or so of playing that on his YouTube channel, and it was like, that looks. I don't know. I could see myself getting into that in a really bizarre kind of way. I don't know.
I'll look forward to seeing where they go with it after it's off early access.
Is it still early access?
It's still early access.
Holy crap! I didn't know that. I thought it was a done thing. What are they doing with it then?
I know.
I mean, it's not a format that lends itself to a great range of possibilities, I wouldn't have thought. Other than just clean up gore in more places.
Well, I'm hoping there's a really grandiose plot to it, but we'll see.
It seemed like from what I've seen, there's like hints of things that were plot, but it's almost like a kind of a throwaway thing. It's just like, well, that goes in the bucket, let's put it in the furnace. It's like, that was the important plot points that presumably the protagonist who went and made this mess in the first instance might have stopped to read, but to you, you're just the janitor. In the furnace it goes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Interesting.
It all sounds very thrilling.
I think it'd be quite cool if they kind of did almost, if they could like recreate famous scenes from shoot 'em ups and type things where you had to explode a lot of aliens. I don't know. Oh,
that'd be brilliant.
Well, I think the final level is just the janitor looking at the mess going, that's it, I quit.
Maybe. That's what he's getting paid for, though. That's his job to clean up the mess. That's what he signed up for.
Yeah, but he expected it within a limit.
Well, okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, I can't honestly think of any off the top of my head, which is why it's maybe not the greatest idea, but I just like the idea of, could we find, is there some fantastic scenes from Halo or Doom or something you could use and just say, oh, everybody remembers that bit, and just rebuild that level, and just you have to clean up the mess in that level.
Yeah.
I think there'd be issues with copyright, though, trying to get Halo Battlefield.
I suppose that's the point at which you then talk to the developers and say, hey, look, we'd like to do a tribute to your game within our game. I don't think... Surely level design isn't covered by trademark or copyright, is it? If you were to recreate a famous level,
I think it depends how detailed the viscera is.
right?
It depends if you've got the colour right.
If it's quite clearly a head from Alien, or if it's the face of the bugs in Starship Troopers, then
Yeah, okay, I'll grant you that. I was just thinking more in terms of the level design rather than right down to the jibs. I wasn't thinking going into that much loving detail. I wasn't expecting bits of brutes and elites and things from Halo.
Just in court.
But that would make the game, really.
Oh, yeah.
Just in court. Those entrails clearly belong to our title character.
That intestine could have belonged to any alien.
God, handle the truth.
But maybe I'm just coloured by the fact that we've literally just been talking about borrowing stuff from other games. So I'm like, yes, borrowing stuff from other games is great. Let's borrow more stuff from other games.
With permission, of course.
Yes, well, obviously with Team Indie, they've kind of gone around a bunch of devs and said, hey, can we use your character? We're making a game about indie game characters. Can we please borrow a artistic variant on your character to use? We'll get our artist to draw your character up in our style and use it in our game.
It's all cross promotion, really. You can't really say.
As well.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing to say yes to.
Yeah,
No.
one of the developers went, we made a blob called Jizz.
Did you just call the blob jizz? It's jitters.
I called him Jitters. Get your mind out
It didn't come through on my end like that.
Get your mind out of the gutter. That's an entirely different game.
Oh dear. Oh no.
One of the creepy Larry games, I think.
Leisure Suit Larry promo.
Yeah, that's the ones. Let's move swiftly on.
That's like I say, I haven't played a whole lot this week, so that's kind of the majority of my stuffs. I did a little bit more for my patrons on Patreon. I've done some more Monkey Island, but that's very exclusive content for a small subset of people.
Cool.
You ain't gonna no plug for that one? No. Okay.
Oh, well. Well, you benefit from that plug, so.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was hoping you'd do it.
Alright, let's repeat the line, we'll do it properly.
No,
Go.
it's too late. No, fine. I won't benefit. Go on without me.
Well, I remember
Find
Monkey
your own
Island.
games to talk about.
Well, I remember Monkey Island back in the day, and I wish someone would. I could pay somebody to play it. Say, John, do you know a link where somebody could do that?
I do know just such a place. If you go to patreon.com/buttonmash, you can pay money to get bonus content on my channel that you would not otherwise be able to see. At the moment, that content is Monkey Island, as voiced by yours truly.
Am I forgiven?
Somewhat.
Thank you.
So if you want to hear such classic lines as, "You fight like a cow," delivered by me, you can go and do that.
Fantastic.
Well, you've just said it on this podcast. You're going to have to come up with a new line.
I know. Well,
People have to pay for it now.
That's all anyone plays Monkey Island for, the "You fight like a cow" line.
Well, them
I know, that's all
cows.
I played it for. Once you get past the fighting scene, it's like, well, I'm done now. I don't need to finish this game.
Just the rest of the content, just the game just stuck on pause and just going like, yep, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I just sit with it open and listen to the music.
I have done that, yes. It does have some fantastic music, yes.
Which you can listen to by going to the link at.
There is no link. I presume you can find that soundtrack on YouTube if you type in Monkey
No, I
Island
was trying to get you
soundtrack
to
on
do
YouTube.
I was trying to get you to do your Patreon link again, but
Oh, that's probably if your primary purpose in life, if your main current burning desire is to listen to the Monkey Island soundtrack, there are probably better ways of doing it than paying me $1 a month to get access to exclusive videos. I'll just put that out there.
that's breaking news, isn't it?
So yeah, if you want to listen to the soundtrack, YouTube it.
Fair enough.
Anyone else play anything exciting this week?
Well, I've been sampling the new DLC for Dark Souls, obviously because they've released they've released 3 in recent weeks, and it's you'd think it'd be more of the same, but it's got a little bit of a twist in it this time.
Your different flavor crown.
It is most of the same, but
That's so mean.
well, I got a new crown. I got a new hat.
Well, that's all we care about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more wasteland, more zombies of a different flavor. Ice zombies this time.
Fucking hell, ice zombies.
It's I think the point of this DLC is that you have to explore the whole thing. The last ones have been really, really linear. And this one, it's more open, and you've got multiple routes to explore, so it made it really, really satisfying. Unfortunately, I was so satisfied that I burned through the whole DLC in about 6 hours,
Right.
which was really disappointing because I was enjoying it so much.
Is there any more on the way, or are we
Nope, that's the
reaching
last
the end?
one.
You're done. Oh my god.
Yes, I'm finished.
Oh dear.
So the only Dark Souls you'll hear from me is that I've been grinding, trying to get my character to level 800.
Level 800.
Yeah.
What? Come on.
Yeah,
What
I'm currently
what does that
level.
achieve?
Huh?
What does that achieve?
Nothing, essentially.
It's just saying.
It means that I can
I'm level
cast a
800.
lot of spells. It'd be very high powered, but probably not as amazingly high powered as a level 200 character. But I'm just enjoying playing the game so much that I may as well level up to that.
I don't know, John. You're not struggling to get to level 50. He's on level 800.
Sorry, what level do you say you're currently on?
I'm currently at, I think, level 250.
Okay, that's quite a
That's a big
substantial.
drop. Yeah, a big leap.
That's after about 60 hours of gameplay.
Right. To be fair, I mean, I've seen some games that do go up to really silly numbers. I mean, I think there's some JRPGs I've seen that are like, oh, it's got level 255 as the top one. And it's like, but you finished the game at about level 50, and at that point it's just like, well, you can grind against really, relatively speaking, low-level enemies forever now if you want to get to level 255, and then there's an achievement at the end if you get to 255. I'm like, you know what? Game, screw you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't say screw you, and
home.
I'm really enjoying grinding. So,
Okay.
but
This was
no,
a JRPG,
all
it was
of
less fun to grind. Especially,
Yeah.
I can't imagine when you're like level 200 trying to get to level 255, and the only enemies the game actually has for you to fight, the toughest things it has to throw at you to actually fight, are level 50, 150 levels below you. I can imagine much of the fun must have gone from the game by that point.
in Dark Souls, when you finish the game, you can start a new game plus, and all the enemies are a lot
that's
harder.
better then. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I'll
So you
give
do get, although if you go through the game once, all the bosses are gone as soon as you've killed them. But if you start the game again, they're all back, and you get to
Right.
do everything all over again.
Oh, well, that's okay. That's better.
And you
just go
get
over and over
more
again.
you get more currency for a higher rate of currency for every level of new game you've done.
Does it scale the game up in difficulty with each pass
Yeah,
then?
yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that keeps you going then.
It does.
That's entirely reasonable. Yeah, my example, which I think it was one of the Tales series I played. That just didn't. It was just like, yeah, you can just keep playing against really underleveled enemies forever and ever and ever until you get to some ridiculous figure. And it's like, I'm not bothering with that. I don't know why you think anybody would, game. That's ridiculous.
I would get bored at that point.
Yeah. I have remembered one other thing I have played this week. I can't believe I forgot about that one.
No, go for it.
Rush Fusion, which is a roguelite shoot-up, is what I would describe it as. It's got a very crazy neon aesthetic. Looks a lot like Geometry Wars.
Ah.
And
You enjoying?
Yeah, I'm enjoying the crap out of it. I mean, there's still a couple of issues with it. It's still in development. They sent me a press copy, which is sort of a closed beta. You can download the open beta from their website. No link? No plug? Rushfusion.com. I was waiting for a segue. So yeah, you can download an open beta, which is like an older version of the game. So they sent me a newer build of it because I did take a look at it on my channel a while back, and they're like, "Hey, you liked the game before? Do you want to look at it again?" I was like, "Yes, please." So that's cool. Yeah, they've added 2 entirely new ships that work entirely different to the first ones. They've added new bosses, new enemies, new power-ups. It's really cool. It's got a great soundtrack. I'm liking it, and I cannot wait to see that one finished. It's really cool.
Good.
As I say, it's kind of got the roguelites thing. It's kind of, once you've killed a certain amount of enemies, it gives you an upgrade from a choice of 3, and they're randomized each time, and then each ship has a few upgrades that are specific to it. So you pick a few things out and you try and get through levels, but it's brutally hard. Or maybe I'm just really bad at it.
Yeah, no, that sounds pretty cool.
When I posted the video, I linked to it on Twitter, and the devs just immediately commented, it was like, "Here's how to fail at Rosh Fusion." I was like, "Oh, thanks."
Yeah. Hey, I'm sure I got you a few views.
Well, I hope so, yeah.
Hey, you're promoting the game.
Yes.
It's not in the way you want it to be.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, I maintain it's much harder to play that kind of thing while doing commentary, because I went back and played more of it afterwards, because, I mean, I don't often do that, but it's really, really good, so it's like, I really want to play more of this. So I've been back and I've played it, and I've gotten some fairly respectable scores compared to what I was getting. Up until doing that video, I was getting like scores in the 5-figure region, when the high scoreboard I had from when I played the first version of the game back months ago was, I got a score of about 800,000, which is like, that's a pretty okay score. And then this time I was getting scores of at most about, it's topping out at about 100,000-ish.
So slight difference.
Yeah, I've got like 500,000 now, so I'm, when I don't have to concentrate on talking to people, I can actually do all right at the game. Not as good as I did, but all right, I think. I killed 2 bosses, which is more than I've killed before.
2 is more than 1.
I don't know where the game ends. I don't know if the game ends. I think it just keeps going and throwing bosses at you, I guess, and more enemies. It's roguelite, so I don't know. Most roguelites still do have an end, so I really don't know. Hard to say. I'm never going to find out, I don't think, unless I go and watch somebody better than me play the game.
Oh dear. Do you have a link for somebody better than you?
I have no idea about links to people better than me. I haven't searched YouTube for professional Rosh Fusion players, I'm afraid. I'm quite sure there will be some people out there who are ridiculously good at shoot 'em ups, and you can probably find them. Twitch is usually where you find your best of your best. People on YouTube just sort of derp about, I think.
Yeah.
Your speedrunners and your whatnot tend to hang out on Twitch, it seems, more so than anywhere else. And all your professional players of your StarCrafts and your League and Legends and things.
Twitch. Cool place.
Twitch, cool place for cool people, that's why we're not there.
Yeah.
Anyway, are we reaching a bit of an impasse as far as stuff we played this week?
I think we
That's
might
as
have
much as I
scraped
play.
Alrighty, well, we shall take a break for a moment then, and once we come back, we'll do some gaming news and a few of the gaming releases for the week.
We'll be right back. Bottom Mash Podcast is back.
Welcome back to the Button Mash Podcast. We talk about video games and video games accessories. We have some gaming news for this week. Well, sort of. It's a quiet news week.
Gaming news, sort of.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Giving you another jingle.
Excellent, yep. One for the
My theory is
soundboard.
if I can overload the machine with too many jingles, it'll break down and I'll become indispensable.
Interesting theory. So yeah, it's a fairly quietish gaming news week, which it has been for a few weeks. It's becoming a quiet news month, I suppose. So we'll talk about what we can. The Gamergate stuff that we talked about a few weeks back, that's kind of reared its head again. I guess it's still doing the rounds. I didn't realise.
It's been a quiet few weeks on that front. We haven't really heard too much more.
I gather it's still going on, but you don't really hear about it. Nobody's really written any articles on it. There's not really any headlines of any kind to speak of until this week. We got new stuff. I follow Zoe Quinn on Twitter actually, and I've seen her mention at some point that the harassment hasn't stopped. She just doesn't keep banging on about it anymore. So
Which is probably the best way to go about it, I guess.
I guess, but it doesn't necessarily make it go away. It just means she's not talking about it. Which,
People are dicks.
Yes, well, yes they are. Yeah. So the new thing that's happened is as regards Intel. Basically, Intel were previously advertising on Gamasutra, which is obviously a gaming industry press site, and I guess they've had pressure from groups based within Gamergate. People from Gamergate have petitioned them to say, please stop advertising on Gamasutra. Basically, we are gamers, we represent gamers, and we think it's again this whole corruption in games journalism and what. And it's like, oh, we don't approve of Gamasutra. They're attacking gamers. They're attacking your audience. So you don't want to be affiliated with them. And then Intel have pulled their ads from Gamasutra. And I was like, oh, they're Intel are bowing to the misogynists. There's a misogynist crowd. They're clearly the entire crowd is defined by a few nutcases. But there you go.
Yeah.
I suppose that's been the core of the entire friggin' saga. To be honest, the entire thing being everyone being categorized by the nutcases within the crowd, but nonetheless, everyone's saying, oh, Intel are therefore taking a stance and siding with the misogynists. And it's like, well, clearly that's not what's happened, but way to spin it, okay. Now Intel have then come out and said, wait, no, we're not taking any sides, we just happened to pull the adverts at the same time as we were told to pull the adverts.
So some bloke in a suit's just come out on the internet with a video going, no, you've misunderstood.
Well, they'll just put out a press release or something and a statement, as it were.
We are not misogynists.
Basically, yes, that is pretty much what they say. It's like, we recognise that our action inadvertently created a perception that we are somehow taking sides in an increasingly bitter debate in the gaming community. That was not our intent, and that is not the case. When it comes to our support of equality in women, we want to be very clear. Intel believes men and women should be treated the same, etc., etc., etc. It carries on in such a fashion. I do think, there's, from a business standpoint, there is a legitimacy to that. I mean, if Gamasutra is attacking gamers, and the particular article by Lee Alexander that did do that, it was like, oh, gamers are dead, nobody likes gamers anymore, gamers are terrible people. It was one of those really slightly extremist articles that was genuinely attacking anybody who identified as a gamer. And that was published on Gamasutra, and so I could understand why someone who wants to advertise to a predominantly gamer audience might not want to advertise with a company that has just come out attacking gamers.
Well, they were in a no-win-win situation, weren't they, really? As we can see from this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, now they've come out and now they've gone into damage control, but, from a business standpoint, you could actually see why Intel might actually want to pull those ads. But at the same time, who knows, they might have their own reasons as well. It might just be a really, really unfortunate coincidence.
We never know how much pressure they're actually under from pressure groups to pull out, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the idea behind all this, I guess the groups have been campaigning for other advertisers on other sites as well. The idea, I guess, is basically if these sites don't have any advertisers, if they campaign to pull all the major advertisers from these websites, they're not going to make any revenue from making games journalism on the sites, and the sites will be forced to shut down. So they are actively trying to kill sites like Gamasutra for doing that, which is a little extreme. I mean, Gamasutra just put out a lot of very good content.
I think sites like that will be fine, though, because they'll just pick up another sponsor. I don't think they'll struggle too much in that regard.
Potentially, but I feel like there might be kind of a bit of a snowball effect if several noteworthy sponsors pull out and say, "Oh, we don't want to be affiliated with this site." Other advertisers might also take note and go, "Hang on, everybody's pulling out and staying clear of Gamasutra. We don't really want to be affiliated with something that everybody else is avoiding like the plague."
Yeah, okay, that is fair.
I don't know. I don't work in advertising, so I can't really say. But just more Gamergate drama.
Not too significant, I guess.
It's not really that significant in the main scheme of things. I mean, obviously, yeah, like I say, you've got Intel just doing damage control is the only thing that's come out of it. Not much more to speak of. Speaking of Gama Sutra, a great article from their blog section by Leszek Lisowski sort of did the rounds this week. Which he is the head of Wastelands Interactive, currently working on a Forex strategy game entitled Worlds of Magic, which I've never heard of. Either way, it's another one of your, I guess, indie developers. It must be. I've never heard of anything particularly noteworthy. It sounds like an indie outfit. And they are just releasing their game on Steam Early Access. They funded the game on Kickstarter and then set up a website to distribute the keys, and some of that didn't work. Things go wrong with websites and big systems like that. So a lot of people emailed them and said, hey, I didn't get my key, or my key doesn't work, what happens, what's wrong? So then he's had to spend a lot of time emailing those people to get their keys to them. In the middle of all this, because obviously that's causing a lot of confusion around an important time when they're launching on Steam Early Access, that's going to be a major date for them. You've also got, as is the way these days, YouTubers. A lot of people who are YouTubers or were apparently claiming to be YouTubers, sending them emails saying, hey, can I get a review copy of your game? I would like to play your game on my YouTube channel. Here's some details to my YouTube channel. Please, can I have a look at your game? And, with being rushed around the early access time and trying to get keys out to apparently about 1,000 or so people. He was just like, yeah, sure, here, have a key, everyone have a key. So, so
keys for all.
Yeah, I had to get out 1,000 emails with keys. Normally get 40 to 80 emails a day, and then apparently an additional 50 a day because the game was about to launch. And, he's like, basically, he sent out keys to everybody. And then basically they've kind of, now there's lots of places selling their keys for far less than Steam, and Steam is the only place you can buy the keys. So how have other people got these keys to undersell them? And the fact is,
be a so.
a lot of people claiming to be YouTubers are not YouTubers. Basically what he's done is he's gone onto one of the sites. It was on G2A, actually, which is a site I've used in the past. I didn't realise quite how bad that was, but basically the guy has got some keys, presumably by pestering the developer for them, claimed to be a YouTuber, he sent them, and now they're being sold on sites like G2A. The guy bought one of his keys back from the store just to check out the details, because I guess if you're the developer, you can check out the details of who the keys are tied to and whatnot. So there's an account on G2A from Bulgaria, and that key, he'd only sent that guy one key, so there's G2A, or someone related to G2A, is just getting a lot of shady looking keys. Can't say whether G2A is pulling that themselves or people are selling it to G2A. It's kind of difficult to say in that regard, but I can't imagine people would sell to the key resellers. That seems like a really weird way to do it.
Yeah, it all sounds a bit dodgy, doesn't it?
I'll say, well, then the guy's gone on to test it, which is, what was that? Went through the Steam upcoming games list, pulled the top 50 or so upcoming games, I think. He sent out 46 emails, which took about 2 hours in total, just generally saying to each of them, saying, hey, I'm a YouTuber, I've got 50,000 subscribers, trying to take a look at your game. More or less, just kind of copying something somebody else had already said him. And out of that, he's got 16 keys for 15 games with a total retail value on Steam of over $400, just for spending 2 hours sending emails.
That's sounds slightly illegal.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you were actually planning to review them, that'd be a reason. I mean, if you were a legitimate YouTuber, I mean, I don't know what you'd do with 16 keys in one day. If you're a YouTuber, you wouldn't go through games at that kind of rate. But nonetheless, if you were actually a press out, let's just say a press outfit, if you were a website and you had 3 or 4 people all working on doing reviews, yeah, sure, that might not be the most unreasonable thing in the world. You're getting 16 keys for 15 games. One of the developers sent 2 keys, and the others have just sent 1, clearly. So it's like, okay, there's a bunch of games for your team to review. That's okay, that's reasonable. But when there are people that are doing this just as it would appear, just for the sake of selling those keys on, those pestering developers to get free keys just to sell them on at a slightly cheaper price than Steam. That's not good. That's not good at all.
Yeah, that's abuse of the system, unfortunately.
It's abuse of trust is what it is, because obviously over the last few years YouTubers have become a thing, including myself. I've asked developers for keys myself in the past, and they've sent them, and I've reviewed them. That's how it works. That's how the system works. It is, as Northern Lion would put it, paperwork. That's what it is when you're doing reviews. They send you a key, you review the game, but because there's so many people doing that these days, yeah, it seems like some people have taken to exploiting that trust. A lot of developers will just go, oh, people on YouTube want to play my game, here, have a key. There you go. Oh, someone else wants to take a look, have a key.
And it's unfortunate because, you know, that developer that's lost all those keys is very unlikely to do it again.
Well, it's more a matter of, I think, from here on out, people really need to be sort of vetting things. Clearly, these guys have not checked out the accounts. I mean, a lot of them are, it seems like, using Gmail accounts that are very, very similar to the channels. So you really need some kind of verification, to be honest. You need some way to say, look, I am who I say I am. And I think the way they're suggesting going about doing that is using the messaging system through YouTube, which God knows nobody uses, but I guess if you're supposed to be sending a verification, I suppose that would work. But I don't know, it's kind of unfortunately giving a slightly negative reputation to YouTubers, I guess, because obviously people are just trying to gouge developers for all they're worth in some underhanded situations.
Yeah, well, there's always going to be dicks in all walks of life doing things like this, so it's very unfortunate.
I particularly don't appreciate it when I'm the kind of person they're essentially impersonating. I mean, like I say, it's people are sort of saying, "Oh, I've got 50,000 subscribers," when in many cases they don't even have the channel, or they are, like I say, impersonating an existing channel that does have that. So that's kind of giving a bad reputation to other people as well. What if a developer were to misinterpret that and say, "Oh, that guy, he asked for 3 keys off me. I gave him them. He's never done a review, and suddenly I found my keys for sale elsewhere." A YouTuber is doing a cut and run.
Spread the word. Get the lynch mob.
Although, I mean, I have seen apparently some people have been asking for, I don't know whether this is a thing other people are actually doing, but some of the emails they've been getting are saying, "Oh, can I have multiple keys?" I was like, "Oh, can I have 2 or 3 keys?" And I was like, some cases asking, "Can I have spare keys as a thank you for doing a review of your game?" I'm like, wow, that's really
cheeky.
Cheeky, yeah, I think is what that is. I mean, obviously there's no obligation to give those keys or anything, but it's just really exploitative is what it is. It's really unpleasant.
Yeah, it's not a nice thing to do, and unfortunately in the gaming world there are people that will do it.
I mean, and there are developers who have willingly sent me multiple copies of things in the past, and I'm like, I didn't need that. I don't know why you've sent me so many, but I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes. And there is actually one developer who sent me 2 keys 3 times now. He sent me 2 copies of the game at launch, and then he sent me like 6 months later and a year later after launch saying, "Hey, would you like to do a review of my game?" And I'm like, I did a review of your game the first time you asked when your game launched. Your game launched a year ago now. I'm not going to name names in that regard, but that's just a really weird one, and in that developer's particular case, I would say please keep your list of people who have actually reviewed your game, so you're not just sending keys out willy-nilly. In that case, that's just bad management on their part. I didn't ask for keys, but I've now received like 5 for no reason.
Well, maybe he needs to watch the review.
Yes, maybe. I mean, I should probably be selling them to G2A, I guess. It seems like they're buying them.
It's a money-making scheme.
It is. Well, I don't know how lucrative it is. I suppose if you're the one selling the keys and you're farming them that fast, it probably could be quite lucrative. Like I say, just a guy doing a bit of experimentation got $400 worth of keys in 2 hours. Imagine if you were doing that as a full-time thing. That'd be all right.
Yeah.
Although I imagine if your primary means of revenue was exploiting people are going to catch on fairly quickly, I imagine.
Yeah, you would hope so, wouldn't you?
If people are picking up these keys for cheaper, then than Steam? Are they really likely to report it to anyone official?
What do you mean, the people that buy the keys? Certainly, probably not, but the developers do have the power to disable keys.
It would be a very difficult situation to regulate, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's what actually requires the developers actually investigating each key in turn and saying, oh, this one's tied to someone who scammed me, I'll switch this key off. And so yeah, I imagine that'd be a very long, time-consuming process that probably wouldn't be worth it to them in the end.
No, not really.
In terms of time investment, yeah. But it is something they can do, because I have heard of that happening. Certainly with some key resellers, you do get some that... I mean, they always say, oh yeah, someone stole like 1,000 keys. I'm like, I don't know how that could even happen, but okay. And then you get resellers and like, oh yeah, they've just disabled this batch of 1,000 keys or something. It's like, oh, well, 1,000 people's games just suddenly stopped working because they didn't buy it through Steam or through Humble or wherever, or through a trusted source. They bought it from someone who stole the keys. So you do need to watch out with where you're purchasing things from. Absolutely.
We advise following the law.
As I say, as someone who has purchased, I bought WildStar through G2A just because it was the cheapest. At that time, I didn't realise. I was just like, oh, they're doing it £10 cheaper than the retail price. Sure, I'll have one of those. Yeah, I don't mind saving £10.
Well, that's how most people's views work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, fault someone for buying something for cheaper, can you?
Yeah, absolutely. Then the main market for these stolen keys is people looking to save a bit of money.
Yeah, this is the internet after all.
It's just people shopping around.
If you're looking for Viagra, you don't want to pay for black.
Oh, yes, quite. You shop around on the internet.
Yeah.
Well, I get several offers a day in my inbox, so it doesn't take much shopping around there.
Yeah, but some things are easier to find than others.
Some things are, yes. Yeah. I had something more for this and I can't remember where I was going with that now.
Sorry.
Anyone else want to pick up where I left off? No?
Nope.
No.
Doctor Who.
There is right. Addendum, I did not register any of the keys I received from developers. They emailed back already. I've been contacted with a few developers. They felt like the keys were taken under false pretenses. If you would like to know if you're on my naive list, just email me.
Oh, wow.
Naming games we have received Steam keys for are Line of Defense, Naissance, World of Diming, From the Depths, and Starpoint Gemini 2. I have From the Depths. They sent me it, mind you. They were like, hey, here's our game.
Enjoy.
Which is, that one's kind of a neat one. That's a weird... Did anyone ever play Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts?
Afraid I didn't know.
Possibly.
It was...
I played Banjo and Kazooie in various incarnations, but
it was the
when
one
I
that was
much
on the
younger.
It was on the 360, and it was the one where you built vehicles out of bits and pieces and had strapped rockets and wheels and things to them and built all sorts of crazy and wonderful vehicles out of parts.
But no.
This is that, but with a ridiculously in-depth amount of things and a complex physics engine. I don't think it's much more than a sandbox, to be honest. I mean, I'm not sure how much content there is in there. I will have to take a proper look at some stage, but I liked Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, so From the Depths, that's one of them. And they're a very naive developer, apparently. Oh, poor guys.
Poor fools.
Poor fools.
You can only stop and pity them.
So yeah, this is more just a word of warning to developers, I suppose. If you get a bunch of YouTubers, please, asking you for keys, please check them out.
Maybe just, type it into YouTube, see if something comes up. It doesn't take that long.
I mean, on each YouTube channel, there is, if you go onto their About page, there is a press contact. There will be a press email address. If you go onto mine, it is biz@buttonmash.net, which is there for developers to contact me if they want to do so. And as I say, plenty do. It's easy enough to find. Not necessarily going to mean if the person contacts you that's going to be the same one, because I would use a different email address to send from the one that you happened to mention last week, or someone happened to mention, Sunil mentioned last week, which is not an email address I make public, but okay, thanks.
I won't do a segue then.
Yeah, I don't do a segue. I have a non-public email address which I would personally use to contact developers if I wanted to do that, whereas I just leave the biz@buttonmash1 public for developers to contact me. it ultimately comes back to me, but, you know, it's different ways of doing things. So yeah, you'd want a little bit more of a rigorous way of verifying it. I think probably the YouTube messaging system. It's a terrible system, but it's probably the most reliable way of getting a message between two people to confirm that you are who you say you are. If you are representing a YouTube channel and you send a message from that YouTube account, it's going to confirm it.
Yep, you can't really argue with it.
So, yes. And YouTubers, please confirm that you are who you say you are, otherwise you look like a scam artist now.
Don't be a dick.
Yes. And don't be a dick. If you're a dick, stop being a dick. General life advice.
We try.
Do we have any other news? We have... Scraping the barrel, we have Doctor Who is now in Minecraft.
Woohoo!
So, yeah, there's this is the Xbox version. There is Doctor Who and Doctor Who related things are now in it. There's no release date on it. It's not really it doesn't actually really tell you quite
what exactly you're getting.
Yeah, I mean, normally with Minecraft they do skin packs, and it's still being marketed as a skin pack, so you've got all the different Doctor Who characters as skins, which, you know, you could just play on PC and have any skin you want, but there you go.
But you can't charge people for that, can you?
No, you can't. That's the advantage. That's why I like PC as a platform. But yeah, then it also shows things like Daleks and Weeping Angels and stuff, so it's like, are they getting new enemies and stuff? And if so, isn't that really weird?
I don't know, that could be interesting, like, facing a Weeping Angel.
Yeah, but what place in Minecraft do Daleks have?
Not
It just
much.
makes no sense, yeah.
But also, with Weeping Angels, if you're looking at them, you can attack them with your sword, surely. So that kind of defeats the object.
Oh, you could.
Because when you look away, they're after you, but when you're looking at them, you can just point them in the face with your sword.
Well, they'll probably just send you to the Netherworld or something.
Yeah, it depends what they do when they're attacked and how they react, I suppose. If they do just die, then yeah, but I don't know.
Do you think maybe it'll have like a TARDIS thing where you just have a police box, but you have a full Minecraft house if you walk into it?
The promotional picture at the top does show a TARDIS, but whether that's official or not, I don't know. I don't know where Polygon got their picture from.
That'd be really good if you could craft a TARDIS that somehow had a larger space inside it.
Again,
That's
go to
perfectly
PC,
possible.
mods. We have mods. We can do that. I'm quite sure there must be a Doctor Who mod. I'd be very surprised if there wasn't. I don't know how
Something
it would
to
work.
research.
I mean, I know there's a what's it called? Can't remember. There is a world which there is a mod which lets you create worlds within worlds, which is a bit surreal and meta and whoa, but it does let you create some cool stuff. Don't know, and you can then kind of shrink it down. Although you don't get shrunk down in it, so I don't know. I'm just speculating at this point how that could work. It'd be tricky, but I'm sure modders can do it. That's the beauty of mods. And you can't do that on 360.
Yeah.
And well, that's actually something I've seen people debating over the last week or so. Is now that Minecraft is owned by Microsoft, what is their stance on mods going to be? Because Mojang or Mojang, whatever it is, have been generally pretty okay with it. Just like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Are Microsoft okay with that kind of thing? I don't know.
My gut feeling would be no, but I don't know. It's one of those we'd have to wait and see.
It is a significant part of what makes the game what it is and as popular as it is these days. There are a lot of people who would have quit playing Minecraft a long time ago that still do play it because of mods, so...
It would be a very unpopular decision to...
It would be very, very unpopular, yes. And ultimately, it's there. They paid $2.5 billion for it. They can do what they want.
Yeah, but do you want to alienate your audience within a year of buying it?
Well, that's what larger sums of money are for.
True.
If we want to continue scraping the barrel and also looking like massive hypocrite, we can talk about some Kickstarters this week.
Well, you are. Well, me and Will are just silently there watching and judging.
Okay, right. I'm a big hypocrite because after last week when we said, "Hey, everybody, be really, really careful about what you buy on Kickstarter,"
Here's some Kickstarters you should support.
I have got 3 recommendations this week. Okay, first up is this one ends on Thursday, and they are not really near their targets, and it's a game I had a lot of fun with earlier in the year. It's called Extra Solar. It's by Lazy 8 Studios, who are the guys who made Cogs. They've got a game which is browser based. You can play it. It is currently at extrasolar.com, so you can play the first chapter of the game for free on there. It's completely free to play. And you drive a rover around an alien planet and take photographs of the alien planet with your rover, and it's played in a pseudo kind of real time. So you tell the rover where you want to go and where you want it to take a photo and how you want it to take the photo, and then you go away for 4 hours and you come back and it'll have taken a photo. And it's really, really cool, and it's really cool the way they actually tied a story into it, because there is a story in there and it gets a bit conspiratorial, and there's a lot of cool stuff going on there. You kind of get messages through the messaging system on there from as I say, it's from the devs. It's from the Extrasolar research team. It does a pretty good job of immersing you in the universe. And yeah, you get messages from the scientists saying, "Congratulations on discovering this," and you unlock bits of the mystery, and then hackers get in touch with you and stuff, and you start trying to solve mysteries on this alien planet just by driving around taking photographs. It's really awesome. And they are funding Chapter 2 of it, and they are, like I say, with only a few days to go, they are not doing terribly well on that. I mean, you can upgrade. They've got a thing on their website. Basically it says you get Chapter 1 for free, and then you have to upgrade to a premium account if you want access to Chapter 2 and beyond. And I'm guessing from the fact that they did a Kickstarter that Chapter 1 perhaps didn't raise them anywhere near as much money as they had hoped, to be honest.
Yeah, it sounds a bit sad.
I'm looking at the page and it looks gorgeous, but yeah, they're nowhere near their goal.
Yeah, they are at hilariously 666 backers right now.
Irony.
Yeah, they're only at 21,000 out of 85, which is I really think that's something that should be supported though, because it's such a cool concept. It's really amazing, and I want to see that successful.
And the second Kickstarter, John, is?
I also have Elegy for a Dead World, which is by Dejaban Games.
Oh, okay.
Which is a game about creative writing.
Okay, I didn't expect that answer.
Yeah, I played it at PAX East. It's a bizarre little title. It's really artistically done. They've got a Luigi Guattieri, I think is his name, is the artist. He's done a magnificent job of creating 3 different alien worlds, and you are a spaceman who's lost contact with the rest of his team, and you get a message from Earth. It's like, okay, you will be rescued. We'll send something out to go rescue you. In the meantime, please document everything that you can find on the planet. And well, the story is like they sent researchers, they sent everybody else, and you're the only one left. You're actually a poet. So you have to go and document everything you see, whatever way you see fit. You kind of wander around the surface of these really artistic planets, and occasional moments in it, you get prompts, and it'll say, okay, now you write something about what you can see here, and it'll give you. The game can give you sort of a very much a sci-fi kind of start of a sentence, and you sort of fill in the blanks, a little bit Mad Lib style, or you can just say, just give me a blank slate. I just want to write whatever. Or it'll also give you like a poetry prompt if you want to do a poetry kind of thing.
It's an interesting concept.
It's a really cool concept. I mean, as I say, playing it at PAX, I don't know if it was the show floor or what, but god damn it, as an intimidating game, as somebody who's not especially creative, just sitting there and the game just saying, okay, write something really creative about what you see. I'm like, I'm used to being told the story. I don't normally have to write the story.
Now, brown cow.
Yeah, I mean, I just came up with some very, very mediocre sci-fi dross that anybody could have come up with, but...
Space, the final frontier.
I think anybody that's got any interest in actual creative writing should absolutely be checking that one out. And as I say, even as someone who's not particularly creative, I love the concept of it, because I think it's got the potential to inspire creativity. So,
yeah,
I think people could enjoy it for that.
Give us a little bit of detail about the Kickstarter. When does it finish, and how
It
close to the
only
goal?
right. I don't have the link up on the world on the screen at the minute. It only launched a few days ago, but they're only doing like a 20-day campaign, so it has 15 days to go. They are just up 50% of the way there, so they're actually doing pretty well on that. But I think they know a lot of people, so they've sort of spread the word quite nicely.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, and you can get a lot of fancy artwork and things if you want to back at the higher tiers. And it's like, if I had the money, I would so go for that, because like $160 you can get like a coffee table artwork book of all the art from the game. It's like, man, it's gorgeous. I would love that.
I'm looking at it. It's fantastic.
I don't have 160 quid to spend on a coffee table art book.
Well,
$160,
dollars,
sorry.
but
Yeah,
even so.
dollars. Yeah.
And
Yeah, not real money.
Not real money, it's that Mickey Mouse
Gaming
money
money.
from the pond.
and the third one, John?
The third one is... I confess I know a little bit less about it, but it's from a team that do have a good track record, so I think it's probably worth a look at. Human Resources by Uber Entertainment, who are the guys that made... what's it called? Planetary Annihilation, which is the spiritual successor to Total Annihilation.
Yeah, okay.
I'm frantically trying to find the Kickstarter.
Sorry, I'm just trying to...
Because if you type human resources into Google,
yeah.
presumably that brings up... Yeah.
I was looking at this earlier. I really want to buy this.
Yeah, it's kind of it's more strategy. They seem to be going... A lot of their team has a background in strategy, obviously, with Total Annihilation. It's a lot of team that made the original Total Annihilation, so they worked on Planetary Annihilation. And... Kickstarter, Human Resources, that'll be the one. And... Yeah, they're sticking with the whole strategy kind of thing, and they're doing... I guess it's like an asymmetrical strategy kind of thing between... what seems to be a giant tentacle monster and a giant robot battling for control of the planet, and it's got like a fully destructible environment.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, wow.
Which sounds amazing.
They're asking a lot, though.
How much are they asking for?
$1,400,000.
I had... want 400,000. Yeah, I had not spotted that goal when I first saw the Kickstarter. Oh, wow, yeah. This is...
Seems like a lot.
Bear in mind that this is the team that, as I say, made Planetary Annihilation, and Planetary Annihilation raised a ridiculous sum of money in and of itself. They are a very large team as well. So... do they have... I just want to check how much they raised on that. They raised 2.2 million on the Kickstarter alone for Planetary Annihilation, and then they've gone through the early access process and sold a lot more copies there, so they raised a few million just to do Planetary Annihilation. And as I say, they are a big team, even in spite of being an indie team. They are quite a large team, so it consumes a lot of money if you've got that many people.
So what have they got on this one then?
This one, they're currently just shy of the $200,000 mark, but I think it's only been up. Has it been up less than a day or so? It still says 30 days to go on it. So,
well, they're a seventh of the way there then.
Yeah.
Less than a day, bloody hell.
Yeah. But this is a team that got a... I mean, if you've been on Steam, you'll have seen Planetary Annihilation, because it's been hanging around the front page in one incarnation or another for the last year or so. It's been in development a couple of years now. It's been getting a lot of press. It's been one of the big early access titles. And honestly, I have played it because I backed the original Kickstarter. But god damn, that's an intimidating game because there's just so much to deal with. It's RTS spread across multiple planetary systems and things. If you're playing on a spherical playing field because you use the entire planet as your map for the RTS, and then you can send spaceships up and you can like strap rockets to asteroids and moons and things and crash them into planets, which is just like, yeah, that's a terrifying concept. I struggle with the RTS at the best of times. Just there's that much to manage in that. It's a very intimidating game, but it has garnered a lot of support. So I imagine Uber Entertainment probably have a lot of fans at this stage. So I can see why they would gun fairly high. They are also the guys who made Monday Night Combat and Super Monday Night Combat, which are two of my favourite things ever. So I like them for that as well. I just wish they'd do more of that. I mean, Sure, tentacle monsters are cool, but
Especially in Japan.
yes, but I do really like my Super Monday Night Combat, and I would like to see more of that.
Yeah, maybe they'll get around to it eventually.
Again, I spoke to them at PAX, and Greg Stackhouse, I think, is the one of the top guys that I spoke to there. He was kind of manning the T-shirt booth at the time, and he was like, "Yeah, we really love the Monday Night franchise as well, so we really want to go back to that at some stage." But again, it's a big team. You need a lot of money to pay a big team. You kind of need these big projects that can make a lot of money. Whereas Monday Night Combat, it was a little bit of a flop, unfortunately. Well, I guess the first one wasn't so much because obviously it managed to fund a second one, but then the second one just kind of fizzled out, which is unfortunate. But there you go. That's the 3 Kickstarters that have popped up. Well, 2 of them popped up this week, and one of them is about to end. I think they're all worth a look.
I think some good choice cuts there. Definitely.
Good. So I'm not being a massive hypocrite.
No.
Hopefully, and until Uber Entertainment a year down the line go, well, we spent 1.2 million. We need more. Can we have more? 1.4, sorry.
Just smoking $100 bills.
Yes. Well,
we'll give you the
they
benefit
didn't
of the
do
doubt
that-
for now, John.
Yeah, they didn't do that with Planetary Annihilation, although they did go on to continue selling the game even after the Kickstarter ended, which was a little bit weird. But, yeah, can't blame them, I suppose. If people are willing to buy it, might as well sell it. It's just business.
Right.
So, now we've thoroughly scraped the barrel, shall we go on to some new releases for the week?
Yep, I think we should do.
Okay, cool. Do you have a jingle for us?
Bonamash new releases. Hey.
Is that okay? That's
I thought I'd add a hey to make it different.
I've not heard that jingle before. Yeah, I'm just going to have to scroll down the page because I didn't have it open at the right point. What's the date today? We're at 9th, right? No, 5th.
We're the 5th, so
No, 5th. Okay. Okay, let's start with Skylanders Trap Team. You know what Skylanders is at this point. It's the game with the toys.
yep.
So this is the latest incarnation of toys and things. This is out now for PS4. So if you are the sort of person who likes playing with toys to interact with your game and spending lots of money on toys to play with your game, and want to do that on PS4, that's an option now.
Thank God.
We have Drive Club and Drive Club PlayStation Plus Edition, available on PlayStation 4, surprisingly enough.
Oh, really?
So that's a team-based racing game with not a whole lot of information on it. It does appear to be one of your rather realistic-looking ones. It's no Mario Kart, I'll give it that.
Oh, it's just driving game, basically.
It's the latest incarnation of how shiny can we make the cars look.
Oh, good. Do they look shiny?
They look very shiny, unless you go through the mud, then they don't look shiny.
Ah, okay. Then I am impressed.
If you're the sort of person who likes shiny cars, there are shiny cars there. Can you tell I don't play many racing games?
No, really? Next you're going to tell me you've never played Football Manager.
Maybe. On the Xbone, we have Project Spark, which is actually that's one of the more interesting looking things, actually. A free-to-play open-world sandbox game, which looks very pretty and seems like it has a lot of potential. I didn't think that was anywhere near done, though. I'm surprised to see that actually pop up. The Xbone isn't doing anything like early access or anything, is it?
Not to the best of my recollection, no.
I also wasn't aware it was free-to-play either, so it's quite an interesting and ambitious direction to take that kind of thing.
You may have to apologise to the Xbox franchise now. You're going to have to stop calling it Xbone.
I will never stop calling it the Xbone. They wrote that one on themselves.
Oh dear.
If you're going to have a silly name for your console, expect a silly nickname. Yeah. Anyway, I can't say I know a whole lot about it, but it does look absolutely gorgeous. It's got a fantastic style going on, and it does. What I've seen, I think you get all sorts of cool powers to shape your sandbox world with, but I don't know a great deal, so I'm probably not the person to ask. We have NBA 2015.
Wow. I don't think this is going to be in anyone's area of expertise, is it?
No basketball fans among us?
No.
No. We
It's a
have
pity Sunil's not here. Sunil's a massive basketball fan.
Oh yeah, he can't stop talking about basketball. We have Dust and Elysian Tale for the PS4. That is an excellent game. I will recommend that one to the end of my days. That's a fantastic one. It looks gorgeous. It is 2D hack and slash, fantastically beautiful looking thing. It plays really, really, really well. It's a lot of people dismiss it because all the characters in the game are animals. Everyone's like, oh, it's a furry game. It's for furries. And it's like, no, it's more in the style of, like Secret of Nim or...
Love Secret Nim.
Yeah, those kind of things. Back in the day, all the cartoons were anthropomorphic. You had lots of things.
Crash Bandicoot and all that.
I was thinking more the old school kind of animations, like the Disney Robin Hood film. Actually, is another good one.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, it's that kind of style. It's not furries. There's no yiffing. It's
Yiffing.
yeah. It's just a lot of people in a fancy kind of world that just happen to be animals talking to each other. And it works. It works great. It looks fantastic. It's got some slightly dubious voice acting in some places because I think it was all just done remotely. It's pretty much done by a one-man team. It was all coded, animated, whatever, etc. The music as well, all by one person. So for a one-person effort, it's a magnificent title. I think that one's well worth looking at.
Cool.
That one's been out on PC for a while though. This one's PS4, so if you haven't played it yet and you have a PS4, you could check it out on that.
Go look at the shiny graphics.
Have a look at the shinies. We have Styx Master of Shadows on the PS4. It says PS4 only on here, but I know we had that one slated for our Steam launches later as well, actually. So it's out on a bunch of formats, I guess.
Somebody's lying somewhere.
Somebody's lying somewhere, yes. This is a stealth and infiltration game with elements of RPG. It's a rather good-looking game, I must say, about a goblin who seems to go around doing a lot of sneaky thief-stroke-Assassin's Creed type stuff. And honestly, I really like the look of that. I don't know. So for whatever reason, I've never played any of the Thief games, and I've barely really been involved in anything Assassin's Creedy. But for whatever reason, just looking at this game, it's just like, I like the look of this. This looks really cool. I like the concept. I might have to sort of have a dabble with this at some stage. Because it does look rather interesting.
Seconded, definitely. I have played the Thief games and the Assassin's Creed games, so yes, this does appeal to me.
Alright. As I'm looking at the screenshots, I mean, we were discussing this earlier. Some of the screenshots look like someone's just painted a picture or something. It's like, does that look like that in the game? Because that looks gorgeous. If it looks like that in the game, I would be a very happy man. There's also elements of steampunk in there. You've got flying ships and things like, yes, please.
Yeah, this sounds pretty good.
Yeah. I shall have to see what I can do about getting my hands on a copy of that later on in the week, I think.
Do it through YouTube messaging, don't.
Yes, I shall have to verify my request for a review key as well. We also have Alien Isolation. Will, you know all about this one?
I love Alien and anything to do with Alien. It's only a shame that HR Gallagher couldn't be here to see such a fantastic game come to fruition.
Do you know anything about this latest iteration?
It's very run and hidey, I'm told. It's you play Ellen Ripley's daughter, and you're looking for the Nostradamus, I believe. I think that's the name of the ship that Ellen Ripley was in, and I think she's basically looking for her mother because obviously her mother was not there.
I'm not well versed on the Alien franchise.
Yeah, I forget what happens at the end. She gets.
Well, I have no idea. So I'm not to ask.
Obviously, she wasn't around, so her daughter goes looking for her and comes into contact with the alien, and you have to run and hide. And the alien isn't on a set course throughout the game. It just appears randomly, like we were talking last week with.
We did briefly mention it, at some stage, yeah.
Like with the Evil Dead chainsaw guy. No, the Evil Within. Also Evil Dead.
Was that something else we had to talk about this week as well? Yeah.
That's coming out on the 14th. So
just
a little bit ahead.
All right, that's something to talk about next week then.
Yeah,
right.
a little bit ahead.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, the PC gamers are talking about this is the game that Alien deserved.
Right, okay.
So,
Cool.
no pressure.
Yeah. She'll have to see. I'll see how that one
Well,
performs.
I've already preloaded this, so I will be playing it on Tuesday, and I will tell you next week.
Oh, good stuff.
Ooh, we
Excellent.
look forward to it.
Next one's an interesting one, especially in light of last week's events. Costume Quest 2
Yay!
Woohoo.
by Double Fine. Who, yeah,
We may
their
have
track
discussed.
record's been interesting. They seem to be okay with this one. This one actually has a publisher, so I'm guessing the publisher put the money up for this. This one is, I think it's the Midnight Club, is it? Midnight City, sorry, is the publisher for this. So I'm guessing the publisher must have put up the money for that, because I don't recall a Kickstarter for this one. Hey.
Hey.
Well done.
Good pun, sir. Good.
Anyway, this is Costume Quest 2. This is the sequel, surprisingly enough, to Costume Quest 1, which was the Halloween-themed costume collecting RPG kind of thing. It was like a turn-based RPG, kind of. It was very like a JRPG kind of thing, wasn't it? I think. If I
Yeah.
recall correctly, that kind of Final Fantasy kind of turn-based combat format. But you kind of customized you play a little child who's collecting lots of bits, like you pick up cardboard boxes and make a robot out of it, and then you can transform into a robot in battle and fight monsters and stuff. And I quite enjoyed the first one, I'll be honest.
Yeah, me too.
It wasn't a hugely long game, but it was a neat little concept, so I'm kind of interested to see what they've done with the second one. It may be more of the same, but it might not necessarily be a bad thing.
I just like the costume transformations.
Yeah,
I thought it was worth seeing what every costume turned into.
absolutely, yes. We also have Spelunky. Is that not a game that was already out? Yeah, okay. This is I guess this is on another new format. This one's, it's out on PS4.
Ah, okay,
So
right, that makes
it's
sense.
been around for the last 5 years now on PC and whatnot, so it's now on PS4. If you've been holding out on Spelunky waiting for a PS4 release, this is now your opportunity.
To the shops.
To the shops indeed. Except you probably won't find it in the shops because it's probably on PlayStation Network, I would imagine. It's a little indie title.
Back home from the shops.
Back home. Go to the shops, pick up the milk, and then come back and buy Spelunky. If you're interested in Spelunky. That wasn't a recommendation or anything, but I guess a lot of people seem to like it. I've not particularly tried it myself.
No, I'm afraid not. We go back to jizz with that for me.
Excuse me, what now?
I think swiftly move on. What's the next game?
Swiftly moving on. Michael has not tried jizz.
Which is probably a good thing.
Pix the Cat is a fast-paced top-down action game where the eponymous Pix must race through multi-segmented levels and rescue poor flocks of poor little ducklings.
Ah,
Something for the Vita with next to no information on it, so I can't really tell you much more than the blurb, to be honest. I can't tell
Well, if
you
you
any
like
screenshots. There's no screenshots, so I can't even tell you what it looks like, so... Vita titles, there you go.
yeah.
I got Project Spark. Oh, right, I see. Project Spark is apparently also on PC and the Bone on the 7th. I didn't know it was out on PC. That's interesting. Well, there you go. Cool. You can get it on PC as well. It's worth noting.
High fives.
Got a lot of interesting things this week could be coming out on PC. I like that. PC Master Race for the win.
Yeah.
Do you like PC gaming by any chance, John?
Nah, can't stand the thing.
Yeah. Okay.
If you don't like PC, we've got an iPhone port. Got Jet Car Stunts is now on the Vita. It was originally released in 2009 on the iPhone, and it looks like it. You can probably kind of get the hang of what it might be from the name Jet Car Stunts.
Yeah, I can make an intelligent guess about what this might be.
Yeah, it's a car. It has a jet, and do you know what it does?
Does it possibly do stunts?
Yeah, I think it does. Da da da.
Mind blown.
Yeah, indeed. So, iPhone port for the Vita there, if you're looking for potentially a little time waster. We've got Dive Kick Edition.
Okay.
That's Addition Edition.
Okay, so it's addition edition.
Yeah. So I
Okay,
presume this just...
thank you for clarifying because I was getting confused.
Given that Dive Kick wasn't... Well, actually, I guess a lot of people do see it as a very in-depth game. There's a lot of strategy and stuff to it, but it's a fighting game with 2 buttons. And...
You dive and you kick, essentially.
Yeah. I'm guessing the edition presumably adds some additions.
Might add new characters
I'm presuming it'll be new characters and maps. I think it's just a expansion kind of thing.
or potentially a new kind of kick.
No.
Well, you
Well,
don't
maybe. As long as it replaces the existing kick, that's okay.
What if they change the commentary?
Yeah.
Dive, kick,
Dive boot.
Oh.
We have Strider 2, which is a PS1 classic for now on PlayStation Network. Castlevania Circle of the Moon for the Wii U. Is that a re-release as well? Circle of the Moon's been around a while, right?
Yeah, well, then I think it's a re-release, isn't it?
Yes, that's... I'll tell you what. I've been going on about this one a few times recently, and I couldn't remember the name of exactly which one it was. It was this one. Castlevania Circle of the Moon. It's the Game Boy Advance one that had the cards magic system.
Oh, yeah.
I've been going on about this with all the magic crafting that's been going on lately. That was the one, Castlevania Circle of the Moon.
Yeah,
I like that one.
Funny how it all comes together.
Interesting, yeah. So that is now on the Wii U, if you wanted. That's a Game Boy Advance classic.
On the Wii.
On the Wii, yes. Final Fantasy 13 is coming to Steam. I think unless you've been living under a rock, you might have heard of Final Fantasy 13 by now.
You would hope so, wouldn't you?
About.
We have Art of Balance for the Wii U, which involves stacking objects as high as possible without the stack falling over.
Wait, is that a game?
Yes, which sounds... I'm not sure if it's Jenga or Buckaroo, but
Django, surely.
yeah, it's a, I guess, 2.5D. It's 3D objects, but it's kind of done in like a 2D plane, I guess, and you're just sort of picking up objects and stacking them and trying not to let them fall over.
It's not quite button mash giant Jenga, is it?
It's not. No, there's not nearly enough blindfolds for my liking.
Or potential lawsuits.
Or potential lawsuits. And Rise Son of Rome, which has been around on the bone for the last year. That's coming to PC now, and apparently been done up. It's all that wonderful PC port, hopefully, potentially. Certainly, if you read the blurb, they bang on about how it's been improved for PC. We shall see. I'll hang on and wait for the reviews myself, because a lot of things claim that. So that was obviously one of the main console sellers, a big AAA one last year. If you were alive and around during the time of the Bones launch, you probably heard about Rise Son of Rome.
Yeah, was one of the ones they pushed. It was up there with FIFA, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that exhausts our initial list. We now move on to the Steam releases. I guess we've already covered some of them because there's obviously a bit of overlap. New launches on Steam this week. Does that get a jingle?
Yeah, okay, hang on, bear with me. New releases on Steam.
Well, thank you for that ear-destroying noise.
I was trying to do Steam.
Note to working with a microphone, don't hiss into it.
So.
Oh dear.
It did cause you some discomfort, so I can live with that.
And everybody else who listens back to this and is using headphones is now hating you for it, by the way.
Yeah, I do apologise if that hurt you. But it hurt John too, so I think you'll all agree with me. It was worthwhile.
Right. So, Steam releases. Without the hiss. We have... did I list Crow? I didn't... I thought I added Crow to the list. I can't remember. I must have dismissed Crow for a reason.
No, we talked about Crow earlier, but not on the podcast.
Okay. Yeah, Crow is a game where you play a crow. It appears to be Crow Simulator. I don't think it's quite as lol YouTubers funny as Goat Simulator.
Oh, Hatterful Boyfriend.
Or Hatterful Boyfriend. I think it might well be a mobile port, so make of that what you will. It does look surprisingly nice for a allegedly mobile title, so... I don't know, maybe iPhones are more powerful than I recognise these days. They probably are.
Taking over the world.
Indeed. Project D Online is a... We discussed this one because I can't figure out quite what it describes itself as. It says it's a non-targeting action MMORPG. What the hell is one of those?
Yeah, you're going to have to run that by me one more time.
A non-targeting action MMORPG.
Yeah, I've got nothing.
I presume this is the sort of more of a current trend in MMORPGs, in which your older style is like World of Warcraft, where you click on a target, you target it, and then you cast a spell. And when you could either cast, as long as you've got a line of sight and are looking generally in the right direction, the spell will hit the enemy. Whereas this is like if you swing a sword, your enemy needs to be in front of you. If you shoot a gun, you need to be aiming at the enemy. You need to point your crosshair at them. I'm guessing that's what it means by non-targeting. But it's something games... I think it's Terra was the first one that kind of really pushed that angle. It was like, look, we don't have to target people. We can just cut people up. And it's like, games have already been doing that for some considerable time. We've had games like that for ages. It's just that
not a very unique marketing thing to take.
It's just something that was up until recently hasn't been particularly done in MMOs, just because everyone for the longest time has been following the World of Warcraft format. So as soon as you deviate from the World of Warcraft format, everyone's like, "Ooh, things that are different."
You've committed heresy.
Yeah. The one thing I will note about what I can make out on this game, just from videos and screenshots, is I haven't seen a single male character in any of the screenshots or videos. I suppose there are some in the box art, as it were, but the marketing materials do seem to focus very heavily on ladies who are not wearing a whole lot.
And people think that gaming communities are misogynists.
I know, right? Where would they possibly get that from? God damn it, Japan. I hope it's not Japan. Actually, to be fair, there's a lot of updates on their channel that are written in... I don't want to say which language it's in because I will get it wrong, but it's in one of those... It's in pictographic, is that the word for it? Language is the one that has shapes for letters.
You're being very safe here, aren't you? Playing it very safe.
I say goddammit Japan because I just assumed Japan would do that, but it could be Korean, it could be Chinese, I don't really know.
I haven't had to do the disclaimer yet. This is...
Because I feel like if I just say, oh, it's Japanese... Oh, hang on, no. At the bottom it says, character models designed in the form of typical Japanese anime characters. I'm going to go on a limb and say it's Japanese.
Well, just in case, the views of the Bottom Mash podcast hosts are limited to...
So there's a lot of Japanese script on there, and I feel safe in calling it Japanese now. So god damn it, Japan.
Again, the views of the Bottom Mash podcast host.
You were the one going on about Japan and tentacle monsters earlier.
The views of the
Button Mash guests.
host. Do you want to say something offensive so I can get you in?
Will, who would you like to offend?
Generally very non-offensive.
Okay.
Next game.
Next game
does look like it sucks.
Next game is Metal Dead.
Podcast guest.
Is that as offensive as Will gets? That game looks like it sucks.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll take it.
We'd mentioned this one last week. It's Metal Dead. I'm guessing it's been pushed back a week or something. It's the one that looks like it's a Flash game. It's
remember you mentioned this.
Point and click, really crudely drawn zombie survival thing.
Yeah.
Not much more to say that we didn't already say last week.
Next
we have... we've got Styx on the list, but we already mentioned that. Then we have... Actually, we've covered a fair few of these. We've got Styx, Costume Quest 2, NBA 2K15, and Alien Isolation are the next 4 on the list. We've already been through most of them. Team Indie is also out this week on PC. That's
which we discussed earlier.
We also discussed earlier, because I've been playing it.
We highly recommend.
I would recommend... Well... It's an interesting little thing. I don't know, it's not the best thing I've ever played, but it's got its own unique charms. We
somewhat recommend.
Yes. Well, like I say, I'll have a review out on the channel at some stage this week. So
I won't segue that. That was too many segues.
Yes. There's Try, T-R-I, not T-R-Y, by Rat King Entertainment, who are a developer I've kind of sort of kept an eye on since a couple of years back. They did a event they called the Advent of Indies, in which they promoted a whole load of free indie games, and I covered them all on my channel way back when. Don't go looking for them, they're awful videos. It was 2 years ago.
Where can they see these awful videos?
You can't! I've deleted them from the internet. Go away!
Oh dear.
But yeah, they've got this thing, Try, which is a game that seems to be, well, about triangles to a certain extent. It's a first-person puzzle game. The aesthetic looks a lot like Cairo, which was a weird abstract puzzle thing, and the gameplay seems to be very portally, in sort of as far as you're sort of playing with dimensions and physics and things.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
So it could be kind of cool. It's quite less abstract than Cairo, but it's got the same kind of general aesthetic going on. It's kind of cool. Looks interesting. We've again got Final Fantasy 13 again. I've already been there. We've got a Golden Wake, which is kind of a pixel art style point and click adventure. I don't know how much there is to say about it because it's a point and click adventure. They all work in
Pretty much the same, yeah.
Yeah, you point your mouse and you click on things. I don't know what else I can say about that. So
if you point and click, the game goes on.
Yes. It's a story of greed, corruption, and real estate in 1920s Miami in a pixel art style. If that is the kind of theme that appeals to you and you like point and clicks, maybe that would be a thing. But yeah, the game's going to be the same as any of the others. We have The Hive, which is out on early access this week, which looks kind of interesting. It looks rather pretty. It's a story-driven fantasy game, but all the footage of it, I'd say it looks rather RTS-y. Seems to be sort of top-down, moving lots of units around, and then they go and fight things. So the idea of a heavily story-driven RTS could be kind of interesting. I mean, obviously a lot of them very heavily focus on just having a solid multiplayer and sort of stories, whatever. So I could dig that. If it's story-driven, I hope that means it's completable by idiots like me. People who are not very good at strategy, otherwise.
So it's got to be idiot-proof, then, basically.
If we're talking about single-player focused strategy, I would like it to be something that an imbecile like myself can actually get to the end of to see the entire story.
But not easy enough that an imbecile like me could leap in and play it.
Well, again, I would hope it would be at such a level that you could finish it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, a lot of stuff like you. I guess just I don't know how much story StarCraft has. I guess it must have some, but at the same time, it's a majority of what you get in StarCraft is just your professional gaming scene. So it's designed to be played at a very high level. Whereas I like more of your. I really enjoyed the Halo RTS because it was an idiot's RTS. It was for consoles. It was baby's first RTS, and that works for me because I'm crap at them.
Oh dear.
So yeah, so we're talking single player RTS. That's what I want to see from one. That is out on early access. So use caution when purchasing early access titles. Again, I don't know what track record that developer particularly has. So do your research. I'll just say it's there.
Fair enough.
We have Shine, a puzzle platformer. Tells the story of a desperate man who, for whatever reason, looks a lot like a small child that belongs in either Braid or Limbo. It's, again, looks... There's more silhouettes going on. It's 2D puzzle platformer with silhouettes going on again. It's not entirely Limbo, no, but...
Silhouettes
It's nowhere near as pretty as Limbo.
You reckon?
I think it looks really ugly.
Shine? Oh,
Shine,
well,
yeah.
Okay. Each their own. I don't think it looks bad, but I don't
You're
know.
not going to take it home to meet your mother, are you?
Right, fair enough. I don't know, I'm not sure what its gimmick or particularly interesting, unique, compelling features are, because there's not much to go on. It seems to be channeling a lot of that kind of style of Braid or Limbo or whatever. It clearly shows its influences, I think. And there's a review below it that says it's a cross between Braid and Guiana Sisters, with a pinch of Limbo as well, so...
That's
So I think we're
there.
not too
You'll
far
try
off.
it.
I think we're not too far off the mark. And we have Boot Hill Heroes. Boot Hill Heroes being a JRPG Western adventure, as in like Wild West cowboys and Indians.
Oh, okay. That might be good.
That sounds really interesting. Yeah. I don't know. Again, with JRPGs and that kind of thing, they can be really time consuming. I don't think I'd find the time to play through something like that these days. But I like the idea. It's a unique setting. It's got very much an old school pixel art style going on again. But yeah, it's like, I guess if like one of your Final Fantasies from, Final Fantasy 1 through 6, I guess.
Yeah.
But if it was entirely set in the Wild West.
I'm just picturing a Final Fantasy game now that was in the Wild West.
Well, you can get it this week. It's Boot Hill Heroes.
Woohoo!
There you go. You need wonder no longer. So, hang on. I might have overshot that anyway slightly. What we're looking up to the 12th is next week, isn't it? So
yeah.
Beyond that, we're looking into... Yeah, beyond that gets into next week. So that's kind of mostly the Steam releases for this week. I do have The Evil Within on the list there, but as we say, that is actually next week's. So we'll talk about that then. I'm sure Will will have more to talk about there.
Absolutely.
That's your kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, do you want to walk us out of this again, Michael, or...?
It's gone so well the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, did you do it the last 2 weeks? I thought you just did it last week.
I did it the week before too.
Oh, right.
I still screwed it up.
I'll pick up the reins again if you really want me to.
Yep. We can make it a tour.
We can team up on it.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for listening, and don't forget that we've got an event at the New Bradford Playhouse on the 18th of this month, so in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find out more information about that by going to
Facebook.com/buttonmash.
And of course, following us on Twitter at
Twitter.com/button_mash_UK.
We may have mentioned this once or twice, but we do have another YouTube channel. You can check out videos from John, which is at
youtube.com/buttonmashempire. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel as well if you want to see these podcasts every week.
Yeah, because it's thrilling stuff.
Well, we try, god damn it.
Also, shall we mention the website, John?
The website, I believe, yes, has actually been overhauled, so it doesn't look like a pile of poop anymore. Thank you very much to Sunil on that one. Yes, you go to button-mash.net. Our website actually looks kind of pretty now, so yeah, that's there as well.
We made it pretty for you.
Mm-hmm. We made it pretty because someone ruined it.
Ooh.
Just saying.
The views of the Button Mash.
I'm in charge. I can criticize members of my operation.
Wow.
We also have a Steam curation page, don't forget, which can be found at bit.ly/SteamBM.
Rolls off the tongue.
Well, it's better than me giving you the ridiculous URL that Steam has, because Steam doesn't give you a useful URL for the page.
Yep, okay, that's fair enough.
It's the best you're going to get in that regard. Links to all these will be in the description below the video, I think. That's what we do, right?
Well, you upload it,
doing that. I was going to say, I've been uploading it. I think that's what I do. I can't remember now.
There will be links, guys.
There'll be links in the description below.
So, thank you very much for listening. We appreciate it. And for myself, John, the host.
See you later.
And Will, who gives 2 hours of his time up for some reason.
Yeah, cheery bye.
Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back next week. Have a good night. Adios.
Bye.
Bye.